Hello everyone, my name is David and welcome to the next video. Today we're going to take a text again. We're going to get new vocabulary and I will ask you some questions. So first of all, we will get to know the text. There is a lot of violence in the modern world. Although prison keeps us safe from dangerous criminals, they do not completely solve the modern problem of crime. In my opinion, people should find more effective punishments for criminals than prison, because imprisonment, in fact, works adversely against crime. First of all, prisoners face horrible conditions such as inadequate medical care or abuse by guards, which, coupled with an environment of criminal peers, often make prisoners more violent than when they went in. In addition, some criminals learn in prison how to commit worse crimes. What is more, they are released with only a few rubles in their pockets and the perspective of being unemployed. As a result, most ex-prisoners commit a crime again. Yet some people consider prisons to be the most effective punishment for criminals. They also believe that prisons protect people from those who might harm us. Although murderers and other violent criminals deserve being sent to prison, a vast majority of prisoners are locked up for non-violent crimes, such as low-level property crimes. In this case, they only need help finding jobs. Moreover, some people who commit crimes are mentally ill and doctors can help them much more than prisons. In conclusion, I believe that prisons are necessary for criminals who are a real danger to society. It may be better if less dangerous criminals receive different punishments, such as community service or a fine. Rehabilitation programs cost far less and are more effective in prisons. Remember guys, you can always rewind the text and listen to it again. Now we're going to work with the words. Violence.
Насилие.
Modern world.
Современный мир.
A prison.
Тюрьма.
Keep safe.
Хранить в безопасности, держать в безопасности.
Dangerous criminals.
Опасные преступники.
Solve the problem.
Решать проблему.
Effective punishments.
Эффективные наказания.
Imprisonment.
Заключение под стражу.
In fact.
По факту.
Face horrible conditions.
Иметь ужасные условия.
Inadequate medical care.
Неквалифицированная медицинская помощь.
Abuse by guards.
Подвергаться насилию охранниками. Либо подвергаться унижению охраной.
Criminal peers.
Такие же преступники.
Commit crimes.
Совершать преступления.
Be released.
Быть отпущенным на волю.
Be unemployed.
Быть безработным.
As a result.
В результате.
Ex-prisoners.
Бывшие преступники.
Protect from.
Защищать от.
To harm.
Нанести вред.
A murderer.
Убийца.
To deserve.
Заслуживать.
Vast majority.
Большинство.
Be looked up.
Быть заключенным под стражу.
Low-level crimes.
Не тяжелые преступления.
Community service.
Служение обществу.
A fine.
Штраф.
Rehabilitation programs.
Программа реабилитации.
Be effective.
Быть эффективным.
Okay guys, you just heard the words. Please look at them again. Now you see words only in Russian. Translate them from Russian to English into your copybook. Now you see the right answers. Now I'm going to ask you some questions. First question. Is there a lot of violence in today's modern world? One more time. Is there a lot of violence in today's modern world? The answer is yes, there is a lot of violence in today's modern world. Should people find more effective punishments for criminals? One more time. Should people find more effective punishments for criminals? The answer is, in my opinion, some people should find more effective punishments for criminals. Do prisoners face horrible conditions? One more time. Do prisoners face horrible conditions? The answer is, it depends. Some prisoners face horrible conditions. Do prisoners get inadequate medical care? One more time. Do prisoners get inadequate medical care? The answer is, some prisoners get inadequate medical care. Do prisoners end up becoming more violent than when they first came in? Do prisoners end up becoming more violent than when they first came in? The answer is, to my mind, some prisoners become more violent than when they first came in. Do prisoners learn to commit more crimes in prison? Do prisoners learn to commit more crimes in prison? The answer is, some prisoners learn to commit more crimes. Do prisoners learn a perspective of being unemployed in prison? Do prisoners learn a perspective of being unemployed in prison? The answer is, yes. Some criminals learn the perspective of being unemployed in prison. Do most ex-prisoners commit a crime again? Do most ex-prisoners commit a crime again? The answer is, a lot of ex-prisoners commit crimes again. Is prison the most effective punishment for criminals? Is prison the most effective punishment for criminals? The answer is, I believe that prisons are the most effective punishment for criminals. But my friends think that prison is not the most effective punishment for criminals. Does prison protect people from those who might harm us? Does prison protect people from those who might harm us? The answer is, I believe that prison does protect us from those who might harm us. Are a vast majority of criminals locked up for big crimes? Are a vast majority of criminals locked up for big crimes? The answer is, yes, a vast majority of criminals are locked up for big crimes. Are some people who commit crimes mentally ill? Are some people who commit crimes mentally ill? The answer is, yes, some criminals who commit crimes are mentally ill. Can doctors help people much more than prisons? Can doctors help people much more than prison? The answer is, I believe that some doctors can help criminals instead of prison. Is prison necessary for people who are a danger to society? Second time, is prison necessary for people who are a danger to society? The answer is, well, I believe that prison is a necessary punishment for those who are a danger to society. Last question. Are rehabilitation programs more effective than prison? Are rehabilitation programs more effective than prison? The answer is, it depends. Some criminals are better off being in prison. Now, the words will appear on the screen. Please do the word test. The right answers are on the screen. Now, the text will appear in Russian. Please translate from Russian to English. Guys, you're doing a great job. It's becoming easier and easier for you to translate the text. Okay guys, now I will read to you the second text. This topic is death penalty. Should people be killed if they commit a crime? We're going to discuss the pros and the cons. Please be attentive. At one time, capital punishment was used in almost every part of the globe. But over the last few decades, many countries have abolished it. However, many people consider the death penalty to be the best punishment for murderers. There are several arguments in favor of capital punishment. First of all, the death penalty acts as a deterrent. In other words, people are afraid of committing crimes as long as the death penalty exists. Besides, the punishment should fit the crime. Therefore, the appropriate punishment for murder is death. Finally, capital punishment is truly cost-effective when compared with the cost of life imprisonment. On the other hand, killing a person is inhumane, and society should show how much it values a life by never killing anybody, even murderers. A second argument against capital punishment is that sometimes innocent people are found guilty. If they are imprisoned, they can be released. This cannot happen if they have already been executed. What is more, criminals can have different reasons for murder, so it is unjust to apply capital punishment to all murderers. To sum up, there are several good arguments both to support and oppose capital punishment. Although it seems reasonable to apply death penalty to the most violent crimes, we ought to do it with great caution. I personally believe that people should focus on the reasons of crimes rather than on their punishment. Now I will give you the words for your vocabulary. Capital punishment.
Высшая мера наказания.
Be used in
Использоваться в.
globe.
Земной шар.
A decade.
10 лет. Десятилетие.
To abolish.
Избавиться, отказаться от.
Death penalty.
Казнь.
A murderer.
Убийца.
An argument.
Аргумент.
In favor of.
В пользу чего-то.
Deterrent.
Мера сдерживания.
To exist.
Существовать.
Appropriate.
Подходящий.
To be compared with.
Сравниваться с.
Cost of life.
Цена жизни.
Life imprisonment.
Пожизненное заключение.
Be inhumane.
Быть нечеловечным.
To value.
Ценить. Оцениваться.
Innocent people.
Невиновные люди.
To be found guilty.
Обвиняться. Быть обвиняемым.
To be released.
Быть отпущенным на свободу.
To be executed.
Быть убитым. Быть расправленным.
Unjust.
Несправедливо.
To apply.
Привести в действие.
To support.
Поддержать.
To oppose.
Не поддержать.
Caution.
Осторожность.
With great caution.
С большой осторожностью.
To focus.
Сфокусироваться.
Okay guys, please study the words and we're going to write a word test. Now you see the words on the screen. Translate them from Russian to English into your copybook. And now you see the right answers. So, I'm going to ask you some questions about death penalty. Are you ready? Great. First question. Was capital punishment used around the globe? Was capital punishment used around the globe? The answer is, at one time, capital punishment was used around the globe. Is death penalty the best punishment for murderers? Is death penalty the best punishment for murderers? The answer is, well, in my opinion, I don't think death penalty is always the best punishment for murderers. Are people afraid of committing crimes because of the death penalty? Are people afraid of committing crimes because of the death penalty? The answer is yes. Many people are afraid of committing crimes as long as the death penalty exists. Is the appropriate punishment for murder death? Is the appropriate punishment for murder death? The answer is not always. Sometimes the best punishment for murder is not death. Is killing a person inhumane? Is killing a person inhumane? The answer is yes. Killing a person is usually inhumane. Are innocent people sometimes found guilty? Second time. Are innocent people sometimes found guilty? The answer is yes. Sometimes innocent people are found guilty. Can criminals have different reasons for murder? Can criminals have different reasons for murder? The answer is yes. Many criminals have different reasons for murder. Should death penalty be applied to the most dangerous criminals? Should death penalty be applied to the most dangerous criminals? The answer is yes. Death penalty should be applied to the most dangerous criminals. Or no, death penalty should not be applied to the most dangerous criminals. Last question. Should people focus on the reasons of their crimes rather than the punishment? Should people focus on the reasons of their crimes rather than the punishment? The answer is yes. People should focus on why they did the crime rather than the punishment. Okay guys, now you answered the questions. Please go back and answer any ones you didn't already. Thank you. Now you see the Russian text on the screen. Please translate them from Russian to English. After translating the text, I advise you to learn it by heart. When you learn something by heart, it's good for your memory and you can take it with you wherever you go. Please look at the words and make the word test. You see the right answers on the screen. Thank you guys for watching this video. My name is David and I hope I've been a big help. Thank you and goodbye.